Okay, folks, the last couple of weeks we've been working with polynomials. And so I wanted to start this week by just reviewing what we've done. We've looked at adding them, we've looked at subtracting them, we've looked at multiplying them. So I just want to do kind of one of each type. You can look back at the other videos that I've posted if you want more detail, but this is kind of meant to be a review, an overview of what we've done. Okay, so let's start with our adding and subtracting. Remember from what we talked about previously, when you are adding and subtracting with polynomials, you can only combine like terms. So in order to combine things, add or subtract them, they have to be exactly alike. So when I look at this first polynomial, there is nothing to distribute. Okay? There's no number in front here, so there's nothing to distribute. So it just comes down to combining like terms. So the 3x cubed, there is no like term over here that goes with it. So the 3x cubed doesn't have anything to combine with it. So it's just going to stay 3x cubed. Now if I look at here, I have a minus 2x squared, and then I go over here and I have a plus 4x squared. So I can add those together because they are like terms. They are both x to the second power. So negative 2 plus 4 is positive 2x squared. When you combine the like terms, you simply add the numbers in front and the variable part stays the exact same. Now, a 5, I can combine the 5 with the minus 8, right? And then I have the 3x, which doesn't have any like terms. So I'm going to write the 3x here, and then I'm going to do 5 and minus 8 makes minus 3. This is my final answer. That's it. You can't put any of these together. You can't add the x cubed and the x squared and the x. You can't do it. You can only add the terms that were alike. So we were able to put the x squareds together, and we were able to put the constants together. But that's it. Okay, so remember that when you're combining, when you're adding and subtracting, you can only combine the like terms, the ones that are identical. Okay? Now down here, the only thing I changed between this problem and this problem is I switched it to a minus in between. Okay? So now in that case now, we have to distribute that minus sign to the second polynomial. So what that's going to do is that's going to change all the signs in this polynomial. So 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5 stays the same, but then it becomes minus 4x squared minus 3x, and then a minus and a minus, that makes a plus 8. Okay? But now from here, it's the same as what we were doing before. You can only combine the like terms. So the 3x cubed has nothing to combine with it, so it's going to stay 3x cubed. Okay? And then from there, we can combine the x squares. I'm going to switch back to different color because I know that one's not the easiest to see. Okay? So the 3x cubed, going back to the darker marker, the 3x cubed has nothing that can combine with it, so it stays. The minus 2x squared now combines, but it's minus 4x squared. So minus 2 minus 4 makes minus 6x squared. Once again, there's nothing to combine with the minus 3x, but this time it's a minus 3x instead of a plus 3x. And now plus 5 and plus 8, since they're both positive, I add them together and it's 13. So our answer is slightly different because of the subtraction. Okay? But this is the key when adding and subtracting is that you can only add and subtract like terms. So notice the way my answers looked. Right? I have a lot of terms left over, but that's all I can do. In this first one, I end up with a cubic polynomial as my final answer. Right? A cubic polynomial. It's third degree, so it's cubic. It's got 4 terms, so it's a cubic polynomial. And then I have the same thing down there. I also have a cubic and a polynomial, 4 terms. I can't get it to be any smaller than that because all the terms are unlike. Okay? Now, the other thing we did was multiplying. So let's just do a few multiplying problems to recap. All we're going to be doing this week is reviewing. So we're just going to be going over these operations. So adding and subtracting, you can only combine like terms. Okay? Now, when we get to multiplying, we're using the distributive property. So for multiplying, let's say I have like a monomial and I want to distribute it to a polynomial. So remember, you're going to use the distributive property to multiply the monomial by everything in the polynomial, in that trinomial. So the 2x gets multiplied by every term in here. Okay? Now I do that, 2x times 3x to the second, right? That's going to make 6x to the third. Because remember, when you're multiplying, you keep the base and you add the exponents. 2x times minus 4x, that's going to make minus 8x to the second. Add the exponents. And then 2x times 5 would be 10x. And guess what? That is the final answer. That's it. Okay? That's the final answer because, once again, you can't combine something to the third power with something to the second power with something that's to the first power. So that's the final answer. So we use the distributive property to multiply through. We use our rules of exponents when we're multiplying, keep the base and add the exponents, right? But then when you get down to the end, you can only combine like terms. Here there are no like terms, so you're done. Okay? Now remember, we also talked about multiplying polynomials that were a little larger. Like what if we had x minus 3 times x plus 5? Right? So now we're multiplying binomials. We did this. You're still using the distributive property. So you're going to take the x here, and you're going to multiply by both terms over here. So x times x, and then x times 5. Right? So x times x is x to the second. X times 5 is 5x. Now you move to the minus 3. Right? So I'm going to move to the minus 3, and I'm going to distribute the minus 3 to the x, and the minus 3 to the 5. So minus 3 times x, that's minus 3x, and minus 3 times 5, that's minus 15. Okay? So I'm still distributing just like I was up here, except here there was only one term to distribute. Here there's two terms to distribute. I distribute the x to both terms, and I distribute the minus 3 to both terms. Now I look to see if I can combine, which in this case there is a pair that I can combine. I have 5x and I have minus 3x. So since they're both x, I can combine them. So the x squared stays the same. 5x minus 3x is 2x, and then it'd be minus 15. So that is your final answer right there. That's it. You cannot combine the x squared and the 2x. You are done. Okay? Let's do one more because we did take a look at multiplying with larger polynomials a little bit. Okay? So, what if I had, for example, x plus 4 times 3x squared minus 2x minus 5. So now I have a binomial times a trinomial, right? So, but I do the same process of distributing. So I'm going to take the x here, remember, and I am going to distribute it to all three terms over here. So x times 3x squared, that's going to be 3x cubed because you add the exponents. X to the first times 3x squared, 3x to the third. Now x times minus 2x will be minus 2x to the second. Right? X to the first times minus 2x, keep the base, add the exponents. X to the second. And then x times minus 5 will be minus 5x. Okay? So I distributed the x. Now I go ahead and I take the 4 and I distribute the 4 to all three terms here. So 4 times 3x squared is going to be 12x squared. I'm going to write it underneath since I'm running out of room like I did in the last lesson. So 4 times 3x squared, 12x to the second. Then 4 times minus 2x, minus 8x. And then 4 times minus 5 is minus 20. And now I combine the like terms. Only the like terms. So 3x to the third has nothing to combine it with. The x to the seconds, minus 2 and positive 12, makes positive 10x to the second. Minus 5 and minus 8 makes minus 13x. And then I have minus 20. So this is my final answer after I multiply and then I combine the like terms. But again, this is my final answer. I cannot combine anything more. I can't combine this x to the third with the x to the second. I can't combine anything more. So I'm left with another cubic polynomial as my final answer. Okay, so hopefully to start this week, this helps refresh what we've done the past couple weeks. We did adding, we did subtracting. We had to be very careful that you can only combine like terms with adding and subtracting. And then we moved to multiplying using the distributive property. And when you're multiplying, right, you're using our rule of exponents, keep the base and add the exponents. And then when you get done with the multiplying, there's often some combining that you can do, but only of like terms. So this week, we're going to be reviewing all week on this stuff. So nothing new this week, just review, getting ready for a summative assessment on this material. As always, if you have any questions, just email me. Okay, have a good day.